Hi everyone, this is E, the Empty Nester. How are you tonight? I thought I'd go ahead and try another live video on some of the treasures I've collected from, past family research. And as you saw from my other video, I've got on my dad's side a number of photos and actually both sides I've got a number of treasures that I've collected over the years, and this one is on my mom's side. This is my mom's mother's grandparents' home back in Lincoln County, West Virginia. And let me see if I can get this up close. You can tell by the cutouts there used to be windows here, and I have no clue why they would board them up other than maybe the glass broke. But there's a photo of her grandfather in front of the building here, and let me bring the picture over closer to you. And then that's her mom's mom in this picture, and her mom's sister. And what do you call it? I don't have my notes here. They're back from the 1800s. Hi, Zilly from Little Bean's Garden. Good to see you again tonight. I hope you don't mind looking at some pictures and seeing a little bit of history. These are kind of family treasures, and you know, I've some of the pages like this I put together with the pictures I collected, and I've never put I put one book together, but not for the entire family. Let's see, sorry. Inside the pages here, I put some of the real pictures, and then these are the printed off pictures. I'm glad you love history too, because some of these too will show you. This is kind of this is where I was born and raised till I was 4. This house right here is my grandma's house, and the roadside is right up here, and they had like a family store during the Depression. These trees back in here are apple and fruit, pears, peaches. I can't remember all the fruit trees they had, but they went up here to the roadside, and they either traded or sold, fruit, and got other things they needed for their family. And then this store was taken down and turned into my uncle's home. After this house was tore down, my uncle's home was put down on the roadside here. But it's kind of neat to see cars like this too. And then looking up, this picture right here is from, down here, probably back by the garage. Sorry about moving around. Probably someone standing back here by the garage looking up at the roadside here. It's quite a drive up here, and the asphalt is built up probably about that thick to where in order to get out of this driveway, you have to go to the side and try not to scrape bottom and hurt your car to get out of the driveway here. And with my aunt passing away, hi DP Mike, good to see you. I'm just sharing some of the historical treasures, that I've collected over the years. But this is this property's still up there, and at the moment nobody pretty much lives in it, and nobody pretty much wants the property. My mom, and if her sister's still alive, neither of them want it, so it's up to a cousin. This is my mom right here, and then her sister, I think Nellie, and then her brother right here. And car wise, I'm not really good. It's probably a Ford, but I might be wrong. I'm on the old cars like this, I'm not sure what they are. But my daughter, when she went back there, she's good at going through the woods, where I'm not real good at trekking up and down the mountainsides. But this truck right here, this is my mom's mom and her dad, and then her older sister Betty, and then some of these kids were from my grandpa's first marriage, and then you know, some of them are, I think these first two are from his first marriage. And then this car right here, our truck, I'm not sure if you'd call it a truck or a car, but it's in the woods right now with, you can hardly tell where it begins and where the tree ends. It kind of is mangled up in the woods. So, you know, family history is still, you know, a part of the hills up there in West Virginia. And then I was lucky to get, this is the grandma right here, Grandma Almy. You know, one of my subscribers in here, his name is Almy, and I was amazed because that's my grandma's name was Almy. But let's see, these two are her great grandparents. Hey, Gear, good to see you over here. And then this is the, let's see, back over here, sorry about this, my mom's grandma's brother. Her name is Rhodey, and then this is her brother and his wife, and then her parents, you know, her father and mother. And what's amazing, this guy right here, my brother looks just like him, or a lot like him, you know, many generations later. And I'm amazed, you know, at it. And then, you know, collecting some of the family crusts, you know, from the internet back in 1999. Things were free back then, as in we shared them. And, you know, Ancestry, you know, the company, I'm not gonna do the dot whatever, you know, the rest of it, took a lot of the information, and you have to kind of pay for that information now that we freely gave away. But this is my oh, let's see, my great grandma's brother and his wife. And then let's see, those are more copies of the family here. And then I took a road trip back to Lincoln County, West Virginia, and got the death certificates. I went through all the ledgers, you know, the records, and then wrote down their names and everything like that. And they had to print up, you know, death certificates and things like that. And these are more notes. You know, there's a lot of work that goes into, you know, learning and finding and digging. You know, sorry, I've got plenty of copies of these pictures, you know, and haven't compiled them all yet. But you know, from other researchers, this is more of my great grandma's brother's families, and as you can tell, there's some big families. And then I was lucky to go to some of the cemeteries back there on Williams Mountain and see, you know, many of the headstones and things like that. And I'm not sure if you can see this real good on here. There's like stones, you know, melted down headstones to where you can't even tell, you know, who was ever put, sorry, that makes it clearer, but you can't even tell who was ever put into the plot back there. And then this is my mom, and, you know, I'm not going to name names on this picture, but, you know, my mom's brother, he was probably Vietnam. He's a younger brother. You know, he was in probably Vietnam. And then this one was either Vietnam or Korea. And then this right here, his wife. And then, what do you call that? My grandpa's brother. And then modern days, pretty much all the older ones, my aunt and her husband and my uncle have passed away. My mom is kind of the only one left, other than we don't know about Nellie. And then my grandpa on the property up on the mountains. If you can see from the pictures, the top of the mountain, or ridge I should say, was kind of flat, and then each side of the mountain went up and down. And then this is my grandma and her first son, and he more than likely was World War II, you know, with his age. And time of service was 1945. And then take a guess who this is. Anyone want to guess who that little girl is with cat glasses on and a couple dolls? You know. I'll go ahead and wait and see if anybody guesses with that one. But this is my mom and the family house, and yeah, Zoe, you're right, Zoe. Sorry, but I'm getting the, here's the original photos, so I'm, glad that I have those too. But yeah, dear, it's me. There's no name on here, so I have no clue, but this might be really Santa Claus, and I might be really, really related to Santa Claus, because there's no name, but that's definitely Santa Claus. So who would have thought I'm related to Santa Claus? But I think things like this are really cool because I have this house in my memory, but it doesn't stand anywhere. And if you kind of put these two pictures together, you can see, there's a lot of doors on the front of this house. When you go in here, there's the kitchen, and then there's a porch over here, and then at this end of the house, there's a living room and then a bedroom. And then this fireplace right here was open to both rooms, the living room and the bedroom up front. And I just thought that was neat, that back in the day they had, two-sided fireplaces too, or shared it. And then this is kind of cool to have a picture like this. This is 1954, and this is my mom. It's kind of funny to see your mom as a teenager. A lot of these pictures, I didn't get as a kid, or didn't see as a kid. They're things that I was lucky to collect as an adult. And then this is my Aunt Betty. She was in the Air Force, and Italy, I think, was where she was stationed at. And, her and my uncle were married over there, and then my cousins were born in Italy. And then, they came back to the United States, and it's kind of, here's more of the family homestead too. But this is my uncle, beating up his little brother in the snow back there. And then, more military pictures of another Uncle Lonnie. Aunt Nellie, she's the one that may still be left with my mom. And then that, and I'm still looking for the historic picture. This right here, this is a treasure. You'll never guess. This is the family cow, and back then, can you believe they took a picture of the family cow? And guess how old this cow is? This cow is older than me. If you look on the back right here, Arbuncle is his name. A-R, whoops, it's blurring. Arbunkle. 1948 it looks like. So, my mom was 8 years old when they had this cow. But, hi Shirley. Good to see you. You know, I'm kind of going through some of the family history pictures. I've got lots of them, but, it's kind of like, do you really want to see, things like this? I know some people are interested because it's kind of historic, it's, what do you call that? It shows a lot of history as in, like the cow. Who would have thought in 1948 that someone would take pictures of their cow? But this is my grandma's oldest son, and then Uncle Lonnie. It looks like he's choking his baby to death. But this was taken in 1963. But it's things like this you find, you can laugh at them. And oops, what do you call it? And then, like, Leave It to Beaver days, the simple times the kids were out playing in the woods, rather than, in the house watching TV. And I'm just going to move these back this way. And, okay, I'll still be here, hopefully. But I've got a whole bunch of slides that I was given, and this was an attempt of getting a negative turned into a positive and just put on here. Some of the pictures were slides, and you can kind of see there's a dog in the road here. But Marthy's Place was a bar that, or tavern, or saloon up on the mountain that my mom's aunt used to own. And then this is some more recent history of, you know, well, this is our first house in St. Louis, when I was a little one. And yeah, that was kind of me, and kind of me, kind of me, and then my brother, and then neighbors and me. And then over here, this is a treasure that my aunt brought me, and this is application to get a birth certificate from my grandpa back in 1955, and he needed a witness to say he was born so that he'd have proof of he's alive and he is who he is. And then this is a what do you call that, an assistance paper, and I'm amazed that things like this were kept. And then probably every driver's license my grandpa ever had back in, there's no pictures. This is let me look a little closer. 1943, 1955, I think it is. Let's see, 47. One's a motor vehicle registration, or what is it? Operator's license. Why would he have to have two? 47. Oh, 51. Sorry, I read that one wrong. But this is the registration for the car or truck or whatever he had back then. A registration, and then newspaper articles, talking about people. And then I've got a letter where they wrote my grandpa back in 1931 from Charleston, a hospital in Charleston, to where he lives is, a car ride, maybe half an hour, 45 minutes. But back then in the days, it took a while. And this is talking about my grandma having cancer on her back, and they removed it. And she had been in the hospital a month, so it took them a month to inform him that his wife, my grandma, was in the hospital. And then back here on the back, it talks about she's going to include a note or a letter from my grandma. And at the end, it says, P.S. While waiting for your wife to finish her letter, some relatives came and she went home. She will write you later. Sister Mary, I can't make out the name, Leurd or something like that, Delurd. But I didn't know there was a Catholic hospital. Very good to see you. But that it's really neat to know that, it took that long. You had to pretty much write to people in the hospital back then. It's not like today where you can just drive. And then this is a some sort of, I have no clue. It's a legal paper where my grandpa had to pay $25 back in 1933 for a legal matter. So that's a lot of money to take care of. Good to see you back, Zilly. But that's a lot of money to pay to a lawyer back in 1933. And then this right here is really cute. I have no clue who wrote it. And, I thought the typewriters were not this good back in the day. But it says, it ain't so much a question of not knowing what to do. I've known what's right and wrong since I've been 10. I heard a lot of stories, and I reckon they are true, about how girls are put upon by men. I know I mustn't fall into the pit, but when I'm with a feller, I forget. This is kind of rhyming, so somebody could write back in the day. I'm just a girl who can't say no. I'm in a terrible fix. I'm always XXX. Come on, let's go. Just when I oughta say nix. When a feller tries to kiss a girl, I know she ought to give his face a smack. But as soon as someone kisses me, I'm sorta somehow sort of want to kiss him back. So it's kind of funny to, this is innocent, but sounding, a little much, but I thought it was really cute to find something like that in history. But, there's another picture back in the day of two of my uncles. Sorry about the blur. But this envelope is full of treasures, and I've got, like paycheck stubs and things like that too, back in the coal mines. And they had to pay for their own dynamite. They got paid something, and then they had to pay for their own supplies. And then this is kind of union dues back in the for the coal mines. And it was like $1 a month, it looks like, of union dues. And so the coal miners really didn't make much, and then they had to pay a lot out too. And Modern Woodman gives Polio Protection Plus at no extra cost. Keep this in your folder. Explains polio benefits. So they were advertising polio shots, I guess. And then life insurance back in the day. So there's a lot of treasures that, we take for granted and throw away stuff like this. But who would have thought that, someone so many years later, like me would, think it's a treasure. And what do you call that? 1954, somebody got $25 or $55. I think it's 25. But, I'm not going to bore you with showing you all the papers. But, and these are funeral notices, when someone was buried, their funeral cards. And, it's kind of like things like this. If you've got a family historian, it's good to keep. And who would have thought that this would make somebody happy, to have all this kind of stuff. And then this right here, home of General Eisenhower, in Abilene, Kansas. This is a postcard where somebody went to Kansas but failed to mail it out. But it's, what do you call that? I guess, I won't go through too much of this. But if you want to see more, let me, know in the comments. And what do you call that? Another thing, too. Let's see. It was something that I was wanting to show you all, too. About keeping treasures. Like back in the days, they actually had little boxing gloves and played boxing. And then, okay. Then there's a lot of history, lots of notes. And then, with my grandpa, he, if you've heard of Chuck Yeager, he broke the sound barrier. Chuck Yeager is my grandpa Ira's first cousin. And, he's, a famous person in our family. And when I went back to the family reunion in Lincoln County, I saw him across the table and I met his wife, but it was like meeting a movie star. I was kind of too afraid to go over and introduce myself. But I guess I'm going to go ahead and close for now. Let me, okay, turn this around, sorry. But I don't know how much of this will record and go on to the video that's going to be on, permanently. Somehow the YouTube edits the stuff and turns it into, back down to 20 minutes from 30 and things like that. Like the first half of yesterday's video disappeared, and, hit and miss, it didn't make sense. So, I don't know how this is going to turn out and whether or not I should continue doing these on live feed or not. Let's see. Thanks, Gear. I'm glad you enjoyed it. And, I love, seeing history. I'm glad you like to listen to history too, DP Mike. Thank you. But I'm going to go ahead and close from now. But thank you all, and talk to you again soon. Let me send kisses, hugs, and love. Bye for now.